Estado mínimo, ideias máximas. Digaí, um podcast focado em liberdade e negócios.
Hello, my friends from Digaí. Once again in English, Mr. Eelco. Did I say it right?
That's correct, thank you.
Okay, thank you for teaching me how, of course, to say your name correctly. I'm sorry when I said Eelco the first time.
No problem.
My mistakes.
It's a very Dutch name.
Okay,
Yes.
Mr. Eelco, thank you very much to be here in our podcast, Digaí. So my first question to you is, why are you here in Horasis?
Yes, excellent question. I was triggered by the thought of meeting this high variety of people with from all over the world, actually.
Yeah.
And all debating the major topics of today. And that has also been the case actually till so far today. So you meet people that are active in as I said, in ESG, energy transition, crypto, geopolitics, and so on. That was the main reason, and that's also what's happening.
And what's your thoughts about the event?
Actually, I'm still in this whole phase of discovery.
Cool.
So I joined obviously this morning. So we are now halfway.
Okay.
And I'm still sort of relishing from the fact that I meet these interesting people that by myself I probably would not have met so easily.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually something that I probably need to process a little bit longer.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it your first time in Horasis
Yes.
worldwide?
Yes,
oh,
it is.
First time.
First time.
All right. All right. I was looking around for your name, and I see that you have you are the co-founder of Alpha Governance. Is
That's
that right?
correct.
What does Alpha Governance does?
Yeah, Alpha Governance Partners is a small partnership.
Okay.
We have partners in different continents, North America, Europe, and Asia. And we are professional board directors and serve on boards and committees of all kinds of financial institutions, including in fintech. And so we provide good governance.
Okay.
And within that, we focus on risk, especially emerging risk, intangible risk. Let's say the soft issues around risk. And that is an international marketplace, if you will.
So let me see if I got this right. So you are like counselors in other company through Alpha. Alpha provides you and your partners as counselors of another companies worldwide.
Yeah, it's those board mandates vary quite a bit. Mostly we are directors, which basically means
Okay.
that we carry fiduciary duty.
All right.
And also have legal risk, if you will, that we take. But there's always an element of hand-holding. And if you think about good governance, it also means that there is always an element of development, i.e.
True.
Absolutely. What is good governance? And so counseling, advisory, that is all part of it. Yeah.
Very nice. What is good governance?
Good governance basically has, in my mind, two elements. The first element is looking at your outside world, including your stakeholders.
Okay.
And stakeholders are those parties which have an interest at stake, which is a much broader definition than just listing up, staff and shareholders and so on. And representing those interests in governance bodies. So that is the second element, i.e. representation in those bodies and overseeing, if you will, the execution of strategy and risk-taking and behavioral aspects of it, let's say, in an investment company. That's in our case, investment company. So that could be a family office, a pension fund, a bank, an asset manager, and so on. So that is so there's this outside-in view on the one hand, but also then the classical corporate governance field of overlooking management, asking the right questions, ensuring that they have the resources to execute, that the organization is robust, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Speaking of Brazil, we have, at least I think that worldwide, there is this whole thing about our corruption. The country is always deep in huge corruptions, scandals, and everything. When we have a country like Brazil, and we have on the other side the ESG, especially the governance and the compliance need for the company, how would a company like Alpha and or yourself as a director,
Yeah.
how would you act in a company here, considering all of these environment, this dirty environment that surrounds a lot of companies in Brazil?
Sure. So, it's not an easy question. I'm not so familiar with Brazil circumstances, but what I will say is this: those interests that I just mentioned. As a board, you need to have mechanisms through which you can actually take note of those interests. So you need basically to install a process in order to understand what stakeholders want and need, and then you will need to build a process and a structure to actually be able to represent those and oversee companies. That means that you need to have a committee structure, you need to have roles and responsibilities in those boards. You need to understand and analyze first where are any conflicts of interest, let's say, and mitigate for those, so that you actually build process and structure that those conflicts do not appear, or that you mitigate those where possible. Now, of course, we base ourselves on the legal system. And so companies cannot be corrupt. It's illegal.
Of course.
That is everywhere the case. Now, to the extent that the legal system doesn't work, or that the legal system is incomplete, let's say, in certain legal system or regulatory system, you would have to fall back on, let's say, principles that, as good citizens, we also know from out of morality, if you will. And so things like paying bribes, if you talk about corruption, we all know that that's not good. Even if it is legally possible to somewhere pay bribes and have it booked as marketing cost, you still have to ask yourself: is that the way that we want to do business? It becomes the problem becomes that it becomes a gray zone, and that is something that you need to watch out for. Is that you have your eyes wide open if you go into any market. By the way, I don't think that that's unique for one country.
Oh, of course not.
Right?
I'm sure
You will find this in many countries.
Oh, yeah,
so this awareness where you're at.
This is very true. I agree 100% with you. And even if we have a gray zone regarding regulation, we should not have a gray zone regarding morality.
Right.
So
and that
it's always a person behind the act of doing something wrong, right?
That's right. And that's one thing. But also those people who are affected are also people that we know.
True.
Right. So
True.
these are our neighbors, our family members, and so on. And so I wouldn't want to speak too heavy about morality in terms of it's nothing esoteric. It is basically thinking, what is the right thing to do? What does the situation require? And the people around you are affected. These are not vague stakeholders that we can't define. We know these people because we live with them every day.
My last question for you. In terms of finance and investments,
Yes.
what do you think that Brazil can export to the world? And what do you think that Brazil should import from outside the world to make a better society for ourselves, Brazilians?
Yeah, so I have to apologize that I'm a bit ignorant about the Brazilian society.
Don't worry at all.
What the world needs more of is fun and pleasure.
Okay.
And so I think that the Brazilians are well known for being able to organize that. And I think that we need more positive influence in the world. So that is clearly something.
Sure.
Now, I know that this sounds a bit easy, but that is also because I don't necessarily know much, say, about the Brazilian economy. Having said that, what I learned today also is that it's a 200 million people, and that means that Brazil has a lot of weight in the world as a result, and a lot of influence. And so I'm certain that the leaders of Brazil are looking how to wisely bring the positive aspects of Brazil into the world. On the other hand, what Brazil can import, what we see today when Vitória organizes this wonderful conference and attracting people from all over the world, that says something about the attractiveness, I think, of Brazil as well.
Yes.
So keep on doing that, I would say.
Thank you. Mr. Eelco, thank you very much for your time. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure
Michelle.
to have you for a couple of minutes here. Congratulations, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I enjoyed
Bye.
that. Thank you.
Estado mínimo, ideias máximas. Digaí, um podcast focado em liberdade e negócios.